There are two categories of people I spend time with: people who need me, people I need. People who need me may not have much to offer in return, but what they give me isn't the point. I'm there to love them, serve them, encourage them. That's it. Jeannie Allen wrote a book titled Find Your People: Building Deep Community in a Lonely World. And while Jeannie comes out of a faith context different from my own, her heart for people to be connected in community deeply resonates with me. In the course of her life and in her book, Jeannie identifies 5 items she has built into her life in order to connect and build community. Part of being a disciple is to consider the way we organize our lives to love God and to love our neighbors. Discipleship is related to the root word discipline, where the discipline of our lives is what we do each day, how we organize ourselves and the people around us. A discipline is not punishment. Jeannie's list may be useful to you as a way to consider what you do to organize your days, what intentions you set in your own life, especially as it relates to loving God and loving neighbors and the people around you. Jeannie asked about proximity. Who do you see most often and where? A good question for us to consider, as we're most likely to build relationships with people who share a physical proximity to us. Transparency. Who can you most truly be yourself with? It's a good question for us to consider. Who are the people you trust the most to be vulnerable with? And just to wonder, what would it like to be able to have a few more close friends who you can be transparent and vulnerable with? Accountability to others. Who are you living close to as permission to wallop you when you need it? A shared purpose. Who is near you already, working beside you, and how could you bring more purpose to the friendships you already have? Consistency. How do we stay and commit and spend regular time with people, even if they hurt us? A question, answering questions, getting the right answer, if such a thing exists, is not the goal of loving God and loving our neighbors. Yet I found in my own life it really does take intentional focus to cultivate relationships with other people and build community, and it takes time. One of the most underappreciated aspects of loving God and loving our neighbor is deeper relationships take time, and along the way people are going to do stuff you don't like, or that even surprises us or hurts us, because we are all human, and we are likely, almost assuredly so, to do the same to other people. One of the fundamental questions we must answer for ourselves is, do I want to slow down and organize my life around getting to know other people? Do I want to organize my life around loving God and having God known in my life? The well-known pastor and author Eugene Peterson is known to have said that the discipleship is a long obedience in the same direction. The first time I heard that quote, I envisioned people walking day and night in the direction of the sun. And then I realized the long obedience of discipleship does not take us the same direction further and further away into the horizon, because it's not linear at all. But it's a circular, elaborate-shaped path where the crucified and risen Jesus is at the center, and the promise to meet the risen Jesus is at the edge. And as we walk from fringe to center and back again, it's a trip we are privileged to make many times in our lifetime. And as we walk from fringe to center, we encounter people for us to know and to love, and through whom we can experience God's presence. Loving God and loving our neighbors is a circular, organized, and dare I say, repetitive obedience, and walking the well-worn path time and again. It's like walking the same neighborhood streets in each season of the year, where we see and we notice something different with the changing of the seasons and the lights. And then we meet and see new people as the season change and people come and go. This summer, loving God and loving our neighbor may be your new beginning, or it may be your call to renewal to the practice of faith that comes alive as we love God and our neighbors together. Amen. Thanks for talking to me today, Gladys. I wondered if we could just start by you sharing some of your earliest memories of faith and church.
My earliest memories of faith and church, I have gone to church ever since I can remember myself. I sang in choirs ever since I can remember.
Wow.
I attended church every Sunday, practically. And I had a very strong mother who insisted that all 5 of her children sit in church every Sunday. And so I was used to the routine of going to church. But in my own experience, it hasn't been till about the last 10 years that it became something extremely personal to me. Whereas I seldom prayed, now I pray about everything.
Wow.
And when I say everything, I mean if my husband is going out on errands, I pray that he will return safely. If we are coming to church, I pray that our spirit will be with the Lord and we will come here to worship the Lord. And I pray for our pastor. I pray for people in the church that I know are working on committees. I never did that all the years that I attended church every Sunday. But the last 10 years or so,
And is there something that
it has become
you remember
extremely personal to me.
Yeah.
I read the Bible almost every day, and I'm so thankful that we publish the scriptures for each Sunday, because I read those several times during the week. And it's my habit to read the 4 Gospels over and over and over. I don't know how many times I have read the 4 Gospels.
And do you know when you started doing that? Started reading the Gospels over and over?
Oh my goodness. When Betty was living,
Okay.
I know I was doing it. As we mentioned, reading the Bible during Bible study one
Right.
time, and I said, well, I just read the 4 Gospels over and over, and I went to the library and got books to help you understand, books of the Bible, and I studied it as much as I possibly could.
Okay. Gladys, do you have any early memories of giving or receiving a gift from your childhood?
Getting what from my childhood?
Giving or receiving a gift.
A gift?
Yeah, did you ever give or receive a gift that made a lasting impression on you?
I'm so old that I remember the Depression very well, and gifts were rare. But my oldest sister gave me a necklace on my 16th birthday, and I still have it.
Oh, wow.
And I get it out on my birthday and wear it in memory of her. I just loved the necklace. It had a matching bracelet.
Yeah.
And some other gift I have is from my mother. It's a rhinestone pin. It started out as a hat pin in her day. She had big ostrich plumes, you know, and this rhinestone pin dates back to 1910, so I have kept that in memory of my mother.
Yeah.
Although I don't need anything concrete to remember my mother, she is still in my heart and mind constantly.
I remember you've shared with me before that when you were a young adult, you and your first husband, John, became foster parents. What was that like then, and how have you stayed connected in the years that followed?
Well, that turned out to be one of the greatest blessings in my life. We took children from the orphanages to, you know, on weekends to come in and visit with us, and we tried to entertain them. And then through the Lutheran Welfare Society, this is in Sioux City, Iowa, we told them that we would like to become foster parents, and sooner or later they told us, we have some sisters across the state in Ames, Iowa, who need a home. There were 4 children in the family. The mother passed away suddenly. The father ran off and left the 4 children to fend for themselves. Darlene was the oldest one, so she was mother to those siblings. It gets cold in Iowa, believe me. They didn't know where to get food. They were just young kids. They didn't know where to get anything to warm up the house. So finally, the Welfare Society there in Ames got them into the orphanage. And then we were notified through the Lutheran Welfare Society that we would get these 2 girls. I never once communicated with them. There was no exchange at all, except that the girls are coming and they will arrive at the train depot and you can go and meet them there. And the 2 sisters said they had absolutely no notification either than, girls, you can get on the train today. A nice lady will pick you up in Sioux City, Iowa. That was about it.
Wow.
And turned out that the 2 sisters were late high school students. So my husband and I said, well, the best we can do is get them through high school, and if they want to go on to college, we'll be glad to do that. They didn't want to hear about college. They just wanted to get out on their own and get into their own life. They were never 1 hour of trouble in any way. They were the 2 sweetest girls you can imagine. And they just fit in, and I got them off to high school every morning. And about the same time, my mother, who had rheumatoid arthritis, came and lived with us. So I had my mother, the 2 girls, and we decided to get a dog. I had no idea at that time that getting a dog was like taking in another person. And at the same time, both my husband and I were working, and everything went smoothly. And the older girl, Darlene, wanted to learn how to drive a car. The younger one, Judy, said, no, I don't want to learn how to drive. My husband will take me wherever I want to go. That was her attitude. And if, I remember one time she came home with a ditto sheet. Her science teacher had 30 questions on it. He said, I'm picking 10 of these for your quiz. And she said to me, why should I learn all 30 of them if he's only going to ask 10? But Darlene was very aggressive, and she was an excellent student. And Judy, unfortunately, passed away from multiple sclerosis, as I told you, when she was about 64. She was bedridden for almost 6 or 7 years. She had 3 sons, and her in-laws loved her very deeply, and they really looked after Judy. The last time I saw Judy, she was on crutches and could barely drag herself around. Darlene married a man who thought he was going to be a shop teacher, and he changed his mind very quickly and joined the Air Force. He did 4 tours in Vietnam.
Wow.
And they have 2 children, wonderful children. The daughter became a school teacher, and the son became an Air Force pilot. And when he retired from that, he flew for American Airlines until it folded. And both of her children have been very successful and loving to their parents, and they're very happy to visit each other. And Darlene and I are in contact all the time. We talk on the phone every couple of weeks and send notes to each other about special things. And Darlene is a quilter. And Fran, I brought some pictures just accidentally today of all the quilts. She sent me pictures of quilts that she has done, and I thought, since you're a quilter, you would enjoy seeing them too. And she goes to a market every Saturday in Panama City. She has a stall there. And Darlene has painted pictures of local birds in Florida. And she said they sell like hotcakes. And she has made very beautiful cheese boxes, I guess you'd call them, very elaborate, to put your special cheese in and whatnot. She is into so many crafts, you can't believe it.